So before we are going to start our webinar, here is like topics we are going through, like about the cryptocurrency and existing cryptocurrency. What are the like main terms in the cryptocurrency and the platform and tools which we are going to use, and the hands-on activity about the creating on cryptocurrency. And we have also a special session for the question and answer round, so you can ask your questions at the end of the webinar. So let's begin our webinar. So I have the question for all of you. So what is the cryptocurrency? Just drop a message in the chat box. So please let me know based on your like experience and whatever you know about it. What is cryptocurrency?
बोल रहे डिजिटल करेंसी वर्चुअल करेंसी
Okay, yes, digital currency, virtual currency, and next, a part of that. Okay, so actual answer is like virtual currency. Yes, it's all of you correct. And well, cryptocurrency is also known as the digital currency. It's but the difference between cryptocurrency and like our traditional currency is like a cryptocurrency is a pure form of digital currency. Okay, so next, the terms about to know cryptocurrency. Okay, so first, owned by everyone. So what is the meaning of owned by everyone? So as we see that currency or traditional currency, it's you can have your in your pockets and you can in your account, but you don't have rights about your traditional currency. So in our cryptocurrency, it's not like that. Everyone have rights about your own cryptocurrency and have like can modify it and can like you can do anything regarding that cryptocurrency. But for like you can't do with traditional currency, as everyone know that the traditional currency is totally controlled by the government. Next is almost impossible to forge. What is the meaning of almost impossible to forge? So like nowadays we can see that frauds happen with your accounts. Like someone send you message and click on that message, so some of the balance is cut like debited from your account. So this kind of frauds happens with our traditional currency. While in the cryptocurrency this can't be like this is the impossible term. Why? Because cryptocurrency is based on blockchain. Now what is blockchain? So blockchain is a like technology, the all the information regarding like cryptocurrency stored in the blocks, and like number of blocks are there and connected in each other. Okay, so now if you are going to make a fraud with one of the block, so whole the chain will break down. And by this thing, by this technology or by this mechanism, we can find out that some kind of hacks or fraud happen with our like cryptocurrency. So this is the reason it's impossible to forge with cryptocurrency. Next, transactions are mostly confidential. So what is the meaning of this? So in our traditional currency, like whatever you spend or you purchase, you buy something, so you transfer your money to someone else's account, and the whole the like transaction details can like seen by the banks and government also. Okay, while in the cryptocurrency this can't be happen. Why? Because cryptocurrency transactions is totally encrypted and stored in the blockchain, so no one can identify that how much cryptocurrency you spend. So this is the main reason like transactions are most confidential. Last is security grows through time and value. So as we discussed about that cryptocurrency is totally based on the blockchain. So here I just take the example like when we create our cryptocurrency and start with one block, okay, with one transaction. So whenever you transact with cryptocurrency, the number of blocks are increased. Okay, so if someone try to hack or like manipulate that particular block, it can't like it's impossible to do these things, right? We already seen that impossible into forge. So that's the reason whenever the time spent or number of transactions happens, so by this time security grows of that cryptocurrency. Now, so this is about all cryptocurrency terms and that like details. So next, please drop a message in the Drops box about the existing cryptocurrency a part of Bitcoin. Whatever you know about that cryptocurrency. Yes, Ethereum. Yes, yes, yes. Litecoin, Binance, right? Doge. Correct. Okay. So here is I have list for you. So here is a Bitcoin. First of all, that well-known coin. Ethereum is also well-known coin. Binance coin is also well-known. Okay. So these are the few examples which is like very well-known in the cryptocurrency. Now that the term I like to introduce here about the cryptocurrency, that the two terms which are the coin and token. So what is coin and what is token? Do you know anything? So please, if you know, drop the message in the chat box. Okay, I like to tell you, just Bitcoin is a coin, right? So there are the two terms, coin and token. So first of all, the coin meaning, just the meaning of the coin is like a known that coin is known as money. Okay, so coin is your money. While the token is used instead of the money. Okay, these are the two main difference between coin and token. Now the major difference between coin and token in the cryptocurrency is here. Like coin, it operates on its own blockchain. Okay, so coin is always having own blockchain, while token is don't never have the own blockchain. It operates on the coin blockchain. So this is the main difference between them. Second is you can't deploy coin on another blockchain, just like the Bitcoin. If you want to deploy Bitcoin on Ethereum network, you can't. Or your Ethereum coin you want to deploy in the Bitcoin, you can't. Okay, while we have the freedom in the token, you can deploy your token on the different blockchains. Okay, like on the Ethereum, like Binance. Okay, so here is an example for that. So on the right side you have the token coin, on the left side you can see the coins. Okay, so Bitcoin, Ethereum and Binance, which is are the coins, and Tether, Shiba Inu and Gara is which is are the token. Now the next term is, today we are going to do hands-on activity about the token, cryptocurrency token. Okay, so to create our token we need some kind of tools. Okay, so or do we need to buy any like machines or tools for that? Yes or no? Just drop a message in the chat box. Yes. Okay, so do we need to buy machine for that? Maybe. Okay, next. No. Okay. Yes. No. Okay. No. Yes. Yes, it's correct. No need to buy any machines. As we discussed earlier, that cryptocurrency is purely digital form. So we need to write a code for that. No need to buy a machine. Okay. So for that we need some tools and platforms. So first we need to write our code. So in cryptocurrency we need to write a contract. So contract is basically the program where you writing your code, and that terms defines contract here. So to write our contract, we need to use programming language. So here we can't use any language. So here is specifically use Solidity. Solidity is also like similar kind of JavaScript. Okay. Next, once you created your contract using a Solidity programming language, you need to deploy on the blockchain. Okay. So for that we need to have blockchain. After successfully deploying your contract on the blockchain, now you have the rights about your token. Okay, now you can like access your token, but to accessing that token we need to have some kind of tool. Do we know which kind of tool we are going to use here? Yes or no? And yes, and which tools we are going to use there? Yes, please drop a message in remix. Okay, next. VS Code works too. Yes, yes, VS Code works too. Okay, but to access that token, I'm talking about the token you created, you write your code, deploy on the blockchain. So here I just give you the one example, right? Like you go to the bank, apply the loan, and your loan is successful. Okay, now you have the money, but to access that money, what you need? What you need to access that money? Bank account, right? Correct. So for the bank account, through that bank account you access your money, you transact, you made transaction, you can transfer that money to someone else. Okay, the similar kind of thing we need wallet. Correct, Dharmik? Yes, correct. Part we are going to use MetaMask wallet. Okay, now the thing is, we if we have the all the tools, so we can successfully create our token. But the thing is, which are the tools we are going to use today? So to use to create our Solidity contract, we are going to use Remix. Okay, next, to deploy on the particular contract, we are going to use Ethereum blockchain, and for the testing purpose we are going to use the wallet, which is known MetaMask. Okay, so now next we are going to do our hands-on activity, so please stay tuned with us. Okay, so before we are going to do hands-on activity, we have to know how we are going to write our contract, or which tools we are going to use our contract. So for the contract, we are going to use Ethereum token standard 20. Okay. So what is this? So Ethereum will provide you that some sort of that guidance. Through that guidance, you are going to create your own token. So here is some examples and provides the methods. Which are the methods we are going to use? So first of all, it's like function name. So which is the function name? So it provides you like your token name. Okay, so it's like for the Bitcoin, like Bitcoin is the name of that particular coin. For the Ether, it's Ethereum. Okay, so that's the name. After that, you have to define symbol. So symbol is not a graphical manner. Okay, it's three letter contains. Okay, for the like Bitcoin, it's a BTC. For the Ethereum, it's a ETH. Similar kind, you have to define three letter word. Okay, and after that you have to define the decimal points. So decimal points is totally optional. Okay, if you want to define or not, but if you want to define, then it's a range between 0 to 18, and it provides you that flexibility. If you want a transaction between 0 to 1, so you can make just like a Bitcoin, so you can buy in terms of 0.000 something of Bitcoins, right? So if you want to provide this kind of functionality or speciality, okay, so you can provide the decimal points. If not, if someone want to just transaction between like uh, 0 or 1, okay, so you can provide a decimal point as a 0. Now next is total supply, balance of and transfer. So which are the tools like define and see that particular balance in your account, and the transfer is very most important, that like if you want to transfer your Bitcoin to the someone else, so we need to use transfer. Or if you want to transfer your cryptocurrency token to someone other else, so you need to use this particular function. Okay, so you can go through this particular website and understand all the functionality, and you have to write your contract based on this functionality. Now come back to the our like hands-on activity. So we are going to use the remix, as we know. So if you go and search about the remix, here is the first link, remix.ethereum.org. okay, if you are comes in the first time, so it will ask you to further share some kind of information, and also in first time you have to define here is a workspace. Okay, now in if you are some first time, then you have to add workspace. So click on the plus, here we are going to write our name, like for right now I'm going to like sf token underscore workspace. Okay, so once you create it, so it will provide you the workspace where we are going to define our contract. So now we are going to define all the functionality of these particular functions like name, decimal points, symbols, and all other things. But contract is not like our general JavaScript code. Okay, so to write our contract, it's a very tedious job, because if you once deploy your contract on the blockchain, you can't modify. So for that, we are going to use the open source library, so we can write our contract with 100% accuracy. So that library we are going to use, which is known Open Zeppelin. Okay, so if you go and write Open Zeppelin GitHub, so this is the open source library for the all the contract for blockchain. So in this, you have to just go to the contracts in the token, and here is ERC20. So what is ERC20? So ERC20 is a like token of the Ethereum network. Okay, it's a standardized token. We can use this particular ERC token 20 Solidity code and create our own token. Okay, so that's the reason we are going to use it. So click on it, and we are going to use this particular token, contract. In the contract, you can see also that all the functions are defining here, like function name, function symbol, decimals, total supply, balance of, transfer. All the functionality are already defined. We are just going to use this functionality in our contract. So there is the zero chances of that particular error in our contract. So that's the reason we are going to use it. Now come back to the remix. Now, what is the first step to start our contract? So in this version, in the compiler, you have to select first version. So your compiler version should be the latest one. Okay, so 0.8.11 plus is the latest version, so select it. Next, you have to select auto compile. So click on it. Why we need to use auto compile? So as we discussed earlier, that the contract should be accurate. Okay, so if you deselect auto compilers, and you might not getting that error chances. So while you are going to deploy, during that time you get the errors, but if you select it, so there is the chances that you can minimize your error through these options. Now come back to our workspace in the text area. Now add your file. So if you selected any of this folder, please deselect it and come back to your main workspace and add the file. So your file should be appear after the or next to the readme.txt. Okay, if your file comes in any one of the folder, will not work for your contract. So remember that. So now we are going to define our contract name. So sf token dot sol. So what is dot sol? It's an extension for your contract. It's like based on the Solidity, it's a sol. Now first step, we have to define our version of Solidity. So to write our for like defining our Solidity version, the first step is like pragma Solidity high version of 0.8.11, which we selected. Okay, now we define our Solidity compiler version here. Okay, next we need to import our library here. So how we are going to import it? Okay, as we do in the JavaScript, similar way we are going to do here, but here we are going to define this link like import in the double inverted comma, put that link, complete that line with the semicolon. Once you enter, so you can see on the left hand side workspace all the library imported and put in your workspace. Okay, so now you can access all the functionality of this particular library and you can use it. So here your work of that particular writing your contract from the scratch will minimize it. So we are going to use this already created that functionality in our contract. Now to start our contract in the in our open source library, we can see in the constructor we have to define our first name, but before that we have to define our contract. As we see here, contract ERC20. Okay, so first we have to define our contract name and put all the functionality of ERC20 into that or allow that particular by using defining the name. Okay, so come back to here define contract and give a name SF token is ERC20. Okay, and done. So now all the ERC20 functionality we can access by through the SFT token. SF token. Okay, so now you can provide any name, you can give the any name in the contract name. Okay, but as of see that our file name is a SF token, so similar I'm going to use it. So in some time, like while you are deploying your contract, it's that minimize your error chances. Okay, now after that you have to define our constructor first. As you see here in the constructor, pass your first like token name and the token symbol. Okay, so similar way we are going to define it here. Constructor and ERC20 constructor, and in that we are going to define the name SF token. So it's a cflux token and the symbol is SFT. Done. Okay, you get the idea about this. Okay, now we have to provide our functionality here. So by defining this, we already created our token, which is known by the name is SF token and the symbol is SFT. Now the next step is, let's go back to our library, and the next step is defining our total supply. So to defining our total supply, we are going to use the mint function. If you scroll below, here it is, the mint function. Okay, so mint function is used to define our total amount and as well as to transfer our particular amount to account. Okay, so that's the reason we are going to use this mint function. Okay, you don't need to understand about the internal functionality, just understand about the first function of that particular internal. No need to understand about the internal structure, just understand about the outer structure. Come back to remix, define mint. In that you have to given first address of that user and the amount of the user. Okay, so first address. So for the address we have the internal variable name, which is msg.sender. Okay, so here is the internal inbuilt variable, okay, which is having address of that particular wallet. Okay, after that you need to define your total supply. Now what is total supply? So it's a strength of your total token. Okay, so you can define any of the strength. Okay, it's totally up to you how much token you want to create. Okay, so for right now I'm going to use 100,000 token. Now do we need to provide a decimal points? So in like continue motion, you just give the decimal points. Okay, and based on the decimal points, as we discussed earlier, that it will divide your particular whole strength total supply or whole strength of token divided by that particular decimal points. So it will increase the range of your token. Okay, so the range of the decimal points, it can be 0 to in between of 0 to 18. You can use any one. Okay, so right now I'm providing the 18, the topmost. So for that you need to like multiply by 10 power of 18. Okay, so by this we define our total supply. Okay, total strength of our token, and when you call this function, so by automatically this much particular amount will transfer to that address of that wallet. Okay, so this is called internal structure, but we have to call it. Okay, so for that we need to define here the function to call that function. Okay, so function, I'm also call it mint, and in that I'm providing the first address to and the amount. Okay, now this function is basically used for the external purpose. Okay, so if someone want to send like token to someone else account, so they can use it. But here's the one drawback. What is the drawback? That after defining this function, anyone can access the total supply of this token. So to make this particular constraint, okay, to make it particular access only by the owner of this particular token, we have to provide some condition. We need to provide some rules. Okay, so for that we are going to define one variable here, which is called admin. It's defined by the address admin and put it in the public mode, so we can access it in any of the function. Now here defining our condition, which is like require. Now in the require, what we are going to do, we are just checking that our admin, it's also known as message sender. So for that we have to put it here first, admin equal to msg dot sender. So what happened, so whatever account you put it here on the beginning of the transaction, okay, it will to put it the admin, so that a particular account is our account. So while deploying our contract, that first address which is predefined and accessed by only admin. Okay, and so in the require we have to check it that message dot sender will equal to admin. Okay, so then and then we'll access this particular functionality. If not, so we passed our one message that only admin allow. Okay, so now what we are going to do, just call our function main, and in this just pass our parameter like 2 and amount. So that's it. So our contract is ready. Now the thing is, you might be get like some questions that why we need to just write this minimum code. So we can write the number of lines, we can put it as possible as uh, like lines, we can write that all the functionality. But here is the main thing, like while deploying this contract you have to pay some charges to the particular blockchain owners. Okay, so whenever the transaction happens, you have to pay that charges. Okay, so that's the reason, and the charges is totally based on your solidity contract. Okay, so contract is having a keywords, and based on number of keywords you need to pay the charges. If your keywords are less, then you are going to pay less. If your keywords are more, you need to pay more. So that's the reason we have to optimize our contract code. Remember it. After it, just save. Once you save, come to our test area. Okay, in the testing area or deploy and run transaction, first we have to select environment. What is environment? So before deploying our contract on the mainnet, okay, it's a like main network of blockchain, we are going to test our contract on the test net. So environments provide you the test networks and also provide you the main network. So here in the option, the top three, like first, second and three is your test networks, and the last web3 provider is your main network. So when you want to deploy your contract, we need to select web3 provider, and by the steps following you can deploy your contract on the main network. But here we are just going to test it first of all. So you can select out of these one, like 1 and 2, like London and Berlin, you can select any one. So there is no difference between this London and Berlin, just the test network which change. The London, it's a first, it's a London based test network, and the second is a Berlin based test network. That's it. Okay, there is no difference between them. So you can select anyone. After it, no need to change anything. Here by default selected the first address, as I said, message.sender, which is selected by default. Okay, the gas limit you don't need to change it, no need to change anything. Just click on the deploy. Once you deploy, you can see the green check mark on your terminal. So once you see the green mark check mark means your contract deployed successfully. Now how we are going to test it? After deploying, you can see the deploy contract area. Here you get the option that you need to select it and open it. So after opening, you have all the functionality you can see here, as we already earlier see in our open source library, that will allows you to transfer from, allowance, balance of, decimal points, and all the things. Now if you want to check like by manually, is it your contract deployed successfully or not, click on the name first. By clicking on the name, you can see your token name here. On the symbol, you can see the SFT, your symbol of token, and the total supply. You can see here your total supply or total strength of your token. So the number of zeros are more, you can see here, because we provide number of decimals is 18. Okay, so that's the reason it will add or it will divide your total number of total supply by 18. Okay, now we need to check first balance, which is, or like in our account it's already available or not, we have to check it. So here it is first option, copy value clipboard. Okay, click on it, you copy the first address, come to the balance of, click here, paste it, and click on the balance of. So if you see here that total supply as in see here, okay, so you successfully having your total supply in your account, in your wallet. Okay, if you see here 0, maybe so there is the chances that your contract have some sort of like error. Okay, so now I want to transfer this token. Out of this token, I want to transfer 1000 token to someone else. So what we are going to do? First, select here any of that wallet. You can have the many wallet address. So it's just for the testing purpose. So every wallet having 100 ether. So you can select any one. I'm selecting second number. Copy this address and put it in the transfer function. Okay, now come back to the account and select your original account. Why we need to select original? Because we are transferring 1000 token from the original account. So that's the reason we need to reselect our original account. Now come back to the transfer function. At the end, after the providing the address by the separating comma, you need to provide the number of tokens, how much token you want to transfer. Right now I just want to transfer 1000 token. Okay, after that click on the transfer. So if you see the green check mark on the terminal, again after the clicking on the transfer, so it will successfully transfer your 1000 token to this particular wallet address which you provided. Okay, now first we check the balance of our account, that like sender account. So click on the balance of, you can see here that 1000 token deducted from your wallet. Okay, now we want to see that receiver account will receive that 1000 token or not. So come to here, we already copied that address, put it in the balance of and check it. So you can see that receiver also receives 1000 tokens. So by through this method you can test it multiple times. Okay, you can send to the another wallet and you can check it that wallet received that particular token or not, and through the receiver you can send to the original like sender account. So is it happening or not? Through this particular workspace or run transaction area you can make it. Now this is for the only testing purpose. Okay, if you want to connect with our wallet, if you want to check that this contract which is work on the real test network or not, or working with our wallet or not, so for that you want to select injected web3. But before it you have to install the MetaMask wallet. Okay, as you already discussed that we are going to use the wallet of MetaMask. Okay, so we need to download that particular wallet and connect with our Google Chrome. Okay, so in the Google Chrome we already have that MetaMask extension, so you can go to the Google and MetaMask extension. If you look out it, so it will provide you in the Google Chrome working. I already installed it on the my right hand side. You can see here MetaMask wallet. Okay, after installing it will ask you few details. It will ask you that particular user account password. Okay, after providing it will generate your key. That key you might be have the, like, you have to store it. Okay, so if you forget the password, okay, you can regenerate or you can access through that key. Okay, once you created your wallet, click on, come back to here, click on the inject web3. It will send the request to our MetaMask. Okay, and in the MetaMask you can see if you are first time, so it will ask you to change your network. Okay, if you are first time, then it will also ask you to show your like test network on that particular network selection. So if you are first time, then you have the Ethereum mainnet. All the local network or test network will not available. So what we are going to do, go to the option, click on the account details, sorry. Okay, here, and click on the settings. Okay, now in the advanced you can select show test networks on. Okay, so after selecting this, it will shows all the test networks on your network selection. Okay, so after the selection you have to select Robson test network. Okay, so after selecting it, it will connect with your wallet. Now what we are going to do, after connecting it, you can see your contract is not available here because we deselect our test like JavaScript based test network. So click on the deploy. So after deployment, okay, so it will ask you to like having the minimum charge of gas fee. Okay, in my wallet I already have a lot of, or like one more than one Ethereum, but I don't know, it's showing insufficient funds. Okay, so it will ask you to confirm here, but once you confirm it, it will shows you here that you can have that all that particular token in your wallet. I can show you here in the assets. Okay, so that's the, by that way you can select it. So that's the whole the thing about MetaMask, and that connecting your, like deploying your contract on the MetaMask, and you can make the real-time transaction using the MetaMask and send it to the someone, your friendly person, and test it that you can send it or not, or you can transfer it or not. Okay, and once you confident with your contract, once you're done with your contract, okay, you can deploy your contract on the mainnet. So for that you need to deploy, you select web3 providers, but while you are deploying on that particular wallet using a wallet or in the main network, you have in like Ethereum in your wallet, then and then you can deploy it. So remember that before deploying any contract on the test network or using that wallet and main network on the Ethereum blockchain, you need to first buy Ethereum. Okay, after successfully that deploying on the mainnet, you can see your token on the Ethereum blockchain. So that's the way you can develop your own cryptocurrency token.